I'm not sure if you're new to pay per call or you've been doing it for a while, but I thought I'd put together a checklist to kind of help you get through the process of selecting a good offer. Use this checklist, for the first 5 or 10 offers that you start testing. After a while, it becomes kind of an intuitive process, and you don't necessarily need a checklist to do this. And especially as you kind of dial in what networks are good and so forth, this will get a little bit better for you. However, I'm going to take the next few minutes and just kind of walk through a checklist that I use mentally when selecting an offer, and so I think this will get you off to a good start when it comes time to start testing offers. Just a little caveat here, in my opinion, I would say like 8 out of 10 offers for click to call campaigns are probably not very good. Typically, you're going to find that the payouts are usually too low to compete with your competitors in Google Ads. Often the durations are too long. Often, you got to be careful that the game isn't rigged against you if there isn't a call center or a particular network that isn't really babysitting their phone or their call logs, right? A good network has a QA team, a quality assurance team, and they're constantly doing QA on the calls that are coming through. And so, a good network will will be able to relay back to, say, a buyer and say, hey, you guys need to pick up the damn phone because people are hanging up waiting for you to pick up the phone. If you don't catch it, hopefully the network does, but not all networks run that way. So you could be spending a lot of money on traffic sending calls to an offer that doesn't even pick up the phone. You would never even know it unless you were recording your phone calls, and so there's, it's even though the click to call campaign is an relatively easy campaign, there's still some moving parts in there that are huge. That if there's any impedance mismatch, you're going to lose a lot of money. And so our goal here is really to kind of like see if we can tighten up the quality of the offer before we decide to actually launch something. And this could happen fast. This could happen. It could happen in a few minutes, or it could take you a week. Figuring this all out, after you talk to the networks or you've gotten some feedback and so forth, and figure out whether that network is worth even applying to. But anyway, I think this will help you out over the next few minutes. I want to show you how I would go about finding new offers to test. I'm going to use two examples. One's going to be OfferVault.com. If you don't know about OfferVault.com, it's just a great marketplace to find offers across the board, everything from mobile CPA to pay per call. And they got a tab here dedicated to pay per call, which is really great. And as a result of that too, you get a lot of information at a very top level view with respect to networks and the offers that they have available, especially if they're new offers and their payouts. And so I look at it as like a really helpful thing. And on top of that, I can also see some red flags too. It's a really good place to see some red flags. And I promised in this video to myself that I would not talk any smack to any networks. I noticed I'm starting to go through my videos for Pay Per Call Blueprint 2.0, the 2019 edition. And I noticed I talk a lot of smack to a bunch of different, this is kind of unintentional. This is just experience talking. When you deal with a company that kind of half-asses it on their features, what they're supposed to be doing, or networks that kind of overpromise and underdeliver, things like that. So I'm working I'm working to limit the shit talk. So I will from a 10-foot level explain my feelings on certain networks, but I won't get into like any swear words or anything, I promise. But with that being said, okay, so traffic in a click-to-call campaign in 2019, in my opinion, has gone up. If you want any level of quality, it's gone up. Not saying it's impossible. You can definitely run calls. People are doing it all the time. There's affiliates all over the place. It's a gigantic industry. I mean, pay-per-call is a gigantic industry. The click-to-call campaign is still a flagship campaign. You could still run traffic. It's just a little more difficult. You got to put a little more time into your campaigns. You got to leverage your common sense a little more these days because the traffic's a little more expensive. And you just got to kind of pay attention to what you're getting yourself into before you've kind of fully invested yourself and you're trying to make money on a $15 or $10 offer and your cost per click is $10 or $15. It just doesn't work, right? So use this criteria as kind of a short, just kind of loose guideline. There is wiggle room in each one of these. Obviously, you're not going to find an offer that's always 24/7. It's not always nationwide. You're not necessarily going to always find the core keywords having massive volume. And I know 5K isn't massive, but relatively speaking, if you could generate a couple hundred calls a day across the number of campaigns and you can get 20 to 30% of those to convert, you're probably profitable. You're doing good. That's usually where I run. I'm a couple hundred to 500 calls a day on most of my campaigns total, and they average around 30% conversion on the Invoca platform. And so really that's about the standard for me. I see guys on the Apollo network that have higher conversion rates. They just have better optimized campaigns, more targeted, more specific. We all have our recipes, and that's the beauty of this whole thing too. Is like I'm showing you some recipes, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow the cookbooks per se, right? To the T. So anyway, just as you kind of go through, OfferVault is a great place to kind of get started, right? It's a good place to just kind of feel out networks, get ideas of like who's advertising, who's playing out here on the field, and what they have to offer. I always look for offers now when it comes to click to call that are a minimum of $25. I know I say 20 here, but I feel like 25 is probably the limit, and 20 is just kind of like, I'm giving you a fighting chance here, right? It's like DUI, so here's what I'd recommend. So you have OfferVault open, you have maybe a network open. This is one of my test accounts, and I recommend opening up Ubersuggest so you can get some rough and dirty like keyword numbers for like core keywords in the industry, so you can just get a quick idea of like what a good offer would be like. So this is Energy Media. I don't know anything about Energy Media. I know that they've been advertising here on OfferVault, or at least they've been all over OfferVault. I'm not exactly sure who they are. Obviously, by their extremely thin About Us page, I would start with like, okay, who are these people? For one, they're going to be paying you, right? You kind of want to see a face. Let me just kind of give you an example of somebody who, like Paulo's got a good example. Not a lot of. What's interesting is a lot of pay-per-call networks do a bad job with their websites. But I mean, here's the Paulo About Us page, right? So there's the team, there's me. Here's the current team right now. We're missing Randy. He's not in there. Got a new team member, Randy. So this page definitely needs to get up to date. But what my point is like, hey, look, there's real people here. You notice that? It's a real company. There's real people here. What's going on with these guys? I have no idea. They got a WordPress site, and they just slapped this together. So, that would be kind of a flag for me. I have no idea who these guys are, but I know I wouldn't go flying to them right here with I don't even know who they are. So, and so that's one red flag, right? So come over here to, is the network reputable? Probably not. Well, I don't know, 50-50, right? But I would stray on the side of, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give them like a 3, Then I would ask myself, like, okay, this is a personal injury car accident offer. If you look at it closely, and I haven't looked at this yet, but what we have here is an extremely, extremely low payout for personal injury auto accident. Typically, a personal injury auto accident offer will pay out like $100. Easy. And that's low. That is low, especially if you're in California, this car accident. So this offer is like shit. It's awful. This is an awful offer, right? There's no details here with respect to duration, or whether or not there's an IVR, if it's nationwide, and you're probably not going to get that information here, right? Let me jump over to Paulo real quick and just look at I don't even know if I have anything approved here. Okay, so I have nothing approved or good. So if I apply to new campaigns and I look at personal injury, right? So these guys, this is personal injury, car accident, $27.30, right? Personal injury, $140 per call. You see the difference here? So you could definitely kind of get a feel for like, and this is a 2-minute, right? 2-minute IVR, California only. This is a California offer. It's running Monday through Friday. It gets started in the afternoon. So this is usually kind of an after work kind of thing. You know, people have their day, they get in an accident. You know, they're not immediately flocking to a lawyer, right? They're going to wait till they get home and so forth, and then they start making their phone calls and stuff. So you know, so again, is the payout above $25? Yeah, but this is an offer that normally pays out $150, and so this is bad. DUIs kind of be something similar, and it's under $10. I wouldn't waste my time there. But look at this. So if I typed in DUI, let's see what we got here. And there may be things that I'm just not aware of with these offers, like so this is a nationwide targeting with like a free case evaluation. So this is somebody who wants to talk to a DUI lawyer, right? If we just target a DUI, very broad, right? And we look and see what DUI kind of what it costs to bid on just DUI. So if you look at this right now, DUI LIPA, I have no idea what that is, but I'm pretty sure it's probably something has nothing to do with DUIs. But I want to check it out anyway. Swan Song. It may be like some kind of Filipino band or something. I don't know. With a really, really bad, slow website. Okay. Well, anyway, I imagine that's probably what they are. But DUI versus DWI. So you're going to get into these keywords. This is kind of an informational keyword. I have a video in the course that talks about, very specifically about information seekers, navigation seekers, and the people that actually have intent, and then how to manage that in your campaign. Because most of the time you're going to end up with information seekers and navigation people looking for a very specific address and they're trying to get there, or a very specific name they're trying to call them. How to remedy that. But you can tell. Okay, so if I'm gonna bid on DUI, like I'm just gonna broad bid on DUI, and it's paying out $10. That means I'm losing $2 for every click I pay for. And even if the true cost is half of that, even if I can get the same click for $5 or $6, there is absolutely no way in hell I'll ever make $10 work. So this is a bad offer. So as much as I love Aragon, Astoria, as much as I love Astoria, this is a bad offer. I don't know why Liza even put this up there. It's not good. It's not. You can't compete. Unless somebody's got a DUI lead gen website and they just have organic traffic coming through all day long. This is a paid marketer's nightmare. And so anything under 25, I just avoid, because you just can't compete. Digital marketing media, $15. I see this offer go for $25. 2 years ago on HyperTarget, and I believe it's still going. So, you can tell, a lot of these are just not going to work. Debt settlement is here's one. So HyperTarget's doing a debt settlement offer. It's $40. HyperTarget is a reputable network. Love those guys. Done a lot of business with them. You can definitely trust those guys. So they got some information in here, right? So $40. They're looking for 10K minimum debt. Pays out on a 1-minute buffer. And if you come over here to my checklist, first thing I ask is payout over 25. Yeah. Is it 120 seconds or less? Yes. Is it nationwide? We won't know. Chances are good. It's pretty close to nationwide. Definitely, probably not 24/7. But check this out. So let's see what debt settlement US. So this is probably debt settlement. Let's see what we got here. So debt settlement, so you're looking at $18, $19 for the core keywords. And is the volume good? We're in the neighborhood, we're in the neighborhood. So the cost per click is $18. They got a $40 payout. So I would say that this is in the neighborhood of a good offer. So if you have a credit debt website, then and you're looking for some debt settlement offers or something, then this is probably one you could test. I have no idea if it's going to be perfect or not. I did set up a debt offer on Paulo, and I have it over here, I think, but I haven't gotten any traffic to it yet. So it looks like we're already starting. Somebody's already generating traffic for this offer on the network, which is great. And it looks like it's paying so it's paying around $40 too. I think this stuff, I don't know. There's some inaccuracies here, right? So this one says up to $40. So that's probably what it is. They probably need to update this information. They didn't update this information very well. But my guess is if I go and I talk to them, that the offer pays out probably $40. So it's competitive. So that's something I'd put on my list, as like a prospective offer worth testing, Sears window replacement, again, under 10, not worth it. Car accident attorney. Now we're getting into kind of the neighborhood. This is still low. These guys, they're probably making 200. They're probably getting paid $175 to $200 from the buyer, and then they're pocketing 50%. I don't know. I know this is relatively cheap. This is low compared to most car accident attorneys, especially if it's in California. And there's not a lot of information in here. So, one thing that these guys could probably start doing better at these networks is they can actually, if they just started putting more terms in here, so people are aware of what they're getting themselves into, stop wasting everybody's time, that'd be great. So, actually create a real campaign summary. But credit repairs is pretty common. This is probably the same guys, Credit Pros. They pay out $12. It's under $25, so I'd probably avoid it. I'm running this campaign, and literally makes like $100 a week. It doesn't do anything, and it's just because the payout sucks so bad, and it took me a long time to get to the point where I could turn on Target CPA on my campaign, and it delivers like 2 or 3 paid calls a day if I'm lucky. And I probably pay about half that. The only reason why I am even running this is just because it's kind of a legacy campaign and it works. It just doesn't make a lot of money. But, it adds up over time. Fire damage, this is a little low too. I've seen it up to $100, $92 to $100. Think about it from this perspective. If we looked at kind of like fire restoration, this is usually what happens. People have a fire and they're looking to get restoration, right? And you'll see that the cost is expensive, right? This is what it costs to compete in Google for these pay-per-call offers. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation right now. So you got to get creative. You got to start coming up with more creative ways of sending traffic. Maybe fire damage is a better keyword, because maybe fire restoration, even though that's high intent, you're going to find more people looking for this offer. You just can't afford to pay for those people. But maybe fire damage is a little cheaper. It's still kind of fire damage, house for sale. No, these are people that want to do repairs. These are just some expensive. But you can see, you can come down here into this area, and even though the keywords don't match, fire damage paint, fire damage concrete, this is probably just a little too broad. Fire damage restoration. So, you're going to looking at $20, $30, right? So again, the networks are lowballing you over here. At least, again, I'm always comparing this to Google Click to Call. There's lots of different ways of running traffic and finding those sources of traffic that can convert. And again, people make these things work all the time. But I also feel like OfferVault is kind of a way of baiting new publishers into signing up and getting into networks and then running traffic at their expense. Because again, it's like you just can't compete at $50. You just cannot compete on 100 seconds. They got literally almost 2 minutes to sit there and talk about their fire damage problems. The offer pays about half of what it should, and you're competing with people that are paying up to, they're paying ungodly amounts of money for the actual keywords that convert, right? So $118, like, so I don't know what this means, Pathfinder, but it's a big deal supposedly. But fire damage home, I mean, these are the keywords that these are the keywords you would want to target. And unfortunately, the cost has exceeded the payout in a lot of cases, which is unfortunate. So like I said, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 offers suck in terms of payouts and so forth. They're just not up to speed with the traffic costs. And it's not really their fault. I think traffic is in a bubble anyway. I think everybody's kind of all piled into Google and everybody's kind of scavenging for the same traffic. And if you're a buyer, if you're a big brand, you got a budget, then of course you're just going to go with these keywords and you're going to drive the prices up. So as long as it's backing up for you on the back end, maybe there's upsells, maybe there's just continuity plans you can set up, maybe these guys are changing out smoke detector batteries every month or something. I'm making that up. I don't know. But so a lot of times when you come into these offers too, it's like the very first thing I would start suggesting to some of these offers or networks is, increase the payout just so it's competitive. And you could show them this, right? You could come over here and go, hey, look, these are the keywords that work. This is what it costs to bid on those keywords. You guys, you networks need to come to the table and you need to increase these things. And if the buyers, I guess it kind of comes back, it all kind of rolls downhill, right? Because you go up the chain a little bit and then the buyers are getting squeezed because they're paying some ridiculous amount of money to buy that call. And we all know that not every call is a sale, right? It's just a lead. And so, how many of those leads turn into a sale? And is that going to back out for the buyer? And what is it they have to charge that customer, their customer, to actually accrue a sale? So like, if we're working off of Google click to call, it's like, Jesus, you're probably going to end up paying, the network would probably end up charging, let's just use an example. Let's just say fire damage home, right? Or fire damage cleanup or registration costs, $50, right? So at $50, I would expect an offer that paid out $150, right? That gives me a little wiggle room, right? I could test some traffic. I could probably test traffic in the $25 to $50 range and find one that converts. So as long as that IVR, that duration is really low. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm paying 50, they're paying, that means the network's paying me 150, which means the network is probably charging 200. That's $200 for one phone call lead. And so, so it's like, okay, how many of those phone call leads are actually going to turn into a sale? Let's just say 10. Let's just say 10%, like 1 out of 10 will convert for the buyer, right? So at $200, they got to spend a minimum of $2,000 just to find one good sale that's going to help with the fire damage restoration. Now, if they're going to make a profit, it's probably going to be they're probably going to look for $1,000 in profit or something on a $2,000 deal. So they need to charge the consumer, the customer, $3,000. And if it's cash out of the pocket, that's probably not going to work. If it's an insurance deal, then it's really going to work. So if that's the case, if we find out that the fire damage buyer is killing it on insurance, then and then rightfully so, the networks have the power, they have the leverage to go and ask for $200 a call. And I wouldn't be surprised if you find $200 a call in some networks, in some circles. The closer to the buyer you are, the higher the payouts and the more trust that they have with you, the better the terms. This is a direct result of not being able to trust publishers. This is just a direct result of publishers, and it becomes kind of a vicious cycle, kind of this incestuous kind of like feeding on each other, right? Because this negative feedback loop, because publishers are in a situation where they have no choice but to send the cheapest shit that they can send to make something like this work. And as a result of sending the cheapest shit that they can send, the networks have adjusted their payouts and increased their durations. That way, when something finally makes it over the fence, it's some level of quality. It's a lead that they can justify selling to the buyer, right? And so you kind of end up in this situation, these impedance mismatches. So there's actually opportunity in those situations. And this is kind of how I tend to operate. I work on the inside with like the Apollo network, right? So when you establish trust with a network and you can actually deliver some level of quality, then the IVRs get removed and the durations get lifted, and now you're working on a raw call and the payouts go up because they can go to the buyers and they can say, hey, listen, this guy runs good campaigns. He's not going to send you a bunch of garbage. He's actually bidding on the stuff that you want. But as a result of that, you really have to, you're going to have to come forward and pay what they're worth. And so you got to kind of work your way up to a level of comfortability with the network that you're working with or the networks, and get to a point like that. But I'll tell you the truth. I think some of the best advice I could give you in this video is when you start seeing these offers and you see these payouts and you want to start looking for leverage, just come over to Ubersuggest and show them the raw numbers. Go, look, you guys, I'm not trying to bullshit you. This is what the cost per click is for your industry standard keywords, and this is what it's going to cost to drive a qualified call. And if you guys can't work within these numbers, then we can't do business. And the networks the networks don't see this stuff. They have no idea. They don't test this themselves. And so you can look like an expert and you can position yourself as an authority because you're out here on the front lines and you're doing all the due diligence and you're figuring this stuff out. So it's just, just some advice. Biohazard, that's another one that's kind of expensive. It pays out $80. The thing with Biohazard is I tried running this campaign and I could not get the traffic to turn on. So a good example for this campaign would be somebody who commits suicide and leaves a big gigantic mess in their house. And the insurance companies don't necessarily come in and they go, well, you buddy, whoever killed himself, we're not going to pay for that. That's what he did. That was his business. He screwed up. So the homeowner, the family, whatever, they're on the hook for having to pay out of pocket for cleaning up nasty shit. So whether it's kind of murder, suicide kind of stuff, or just nasty, maybe you had a septic problem or sewer problem, things backed up, and you got raw sewage all over the floor. Biohazard related stuff. It happens a lot. But at the same time, when you start looking at the industry standard keywords, this is a guy looking for a job, right? Biohazard cleanup pay. That's probably a guy looking for a job. I notice there's a lot of people looking for biohazard jobs in this space too. But this is really one of those. This is not a low hanging campaign. This is something that's going to require some digging to figure out who's really calling this offer and what keywords are they using, because biohazard typically isn't the keyword that they use when they think about hiring somebody to clean up a suicide or something, right? I would probably look up suicide cleanup. Problem was I couldn't get Google to actually. There was volume. Okay, maybe not anymore. There was tons of volume for a lot of these kind of weird words. It looks like Google may have started blocking this stuff. But they wouldn't serve any of the traffic. I think it's just kind of a restricted niche, kind of, which makes this a really difficult vertical to kind of get into, which leads me to a couple of other things. Is this an old offer? Is this a new offer? Are there other publishers running it? Those are questions you're going to have for your network when you start to apply and you get on board. You don't even have to apply. You don't even really have to apply and get approved to ask these questions. I would definitely ask them, are the other people really running this offer and are they making it work? I don't know any, I ran this on Hyper Target and they didn't have anybody running it. I tested it like a dum-dum because I'm it looks interesting. I wouldn't call him, not really a dum-dum, because a lot of times it works to your advantage to test new offers if they haven't been tested before and it's a new niche. Sometimes you can find some really good opportunities there because literally nobody's even tested them. Paulo is really good at going out and creating new offers that never existed before. And if you get an opportunity to test a couple of those before anybody else, then you have basically no competition or very little competition. And that really helps you make a ton of money early on before everybody else jumps on board. So I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. That's why I was trying it. But the Biohazard, not that great. Yeah, this is just getting difficult. Rehab 10 seconds, $35. This is a good deal. This is Digital Market Media. Yeah, these guys got a pretty good campaign. I don't even get paid that much, and I work directly with Paulo. This is basically what Paulo gets paid. So this is a good deal. So the DMM might be taking like a $5 per call margin or something on this, and then passing the rest to you. It's 10-second duration post IVR. It's probably gonna be a 24/7 campaign. Or at least it's going to have some good hours and like national coverage. So this is a good example of a good offer, right? The caveat with this offer is that Google's got a policy on addiction now, and you can't run addiction campaigns unless you have legit script certification. And the only people that can get legit script certification in the addiction space are addiction treatment centers. So that was Google's solution for circumventing affiliate marketers. So the workaround now is to go seek out your own treatment center, not your own personal treatment center, but go find a relationship that you can start up, and you can either pitch the network, the center, a legit script. So you can say, hey, look, I'll go sign up for legit script. You go legitscript.com, fill out all the information. It's like $1,500, right? But think about this, like if you're an addiction publisher, or you come from the addiction background, or you're a good publisher, one unfair advantage in the affiliate marketing space is to be one of those marketers who doesn't have to swim with the rest of the marketers. So if you go strike up a conversation with a nearby facility, and you say, hey, I want to be your marketer, your marketing guy, your media buyer for your facility. We need to get legit script certified. I will do that work for you. It costs $1,500. You can decide on whether you want to recoup that cost yourself through traffic after you get the ball rolling with them and you've signed contracts, or you can make them pay for it and then you just run their media for them. But if you get legit script certified, then you can run addiction traffic, and you can make this offer scream, and thousands of dollars a day, no problem. There's lots of volume in the addiction space. You can still make addiction work, but you just can't target addiction keywords directly. And you got to be very careful with your ads too, because there's a lot of trigger words in those that'll get your ads disqualified. Addiction, treatment, recovery, inpatient, things like that just send obvious signals. So you got to do some massaging there. But it's still addiction is still alive and kicking. It's just not so blatantly obvious anymore. You just can't run it like we did a few years ago. But this is a good offer. And you can still test it and still make it work. So that is one that kind of fits the bill, right? It's been around for a while. It's evergreen. You got some addiction issues with Google, but if you can figure that out, then you're gonna be moving ahead. It's a 30-second buffer. Pays out $35. It's 24/7. It's nationwide. It's got lots of volume. We probably won't see it here because Google, again with their policies, may be blocking it out. No, okay, so there's 10 G's there, but there's a lot, right? So we can go alcohol rehab. There's just so many keywords with addiction, which is why it's such a lovely vertical. But yeah, I mean, you're paying a pretty penny for these keywords, but there's a lot of cheap traffic in here too, so it's not the end of the world. Avoid the free stuff. That's not going to get anybody into rehab. That's a good offer though. Let's see what else we got. Are there other money? Yeah. So I gave you a couple examples of like what's good and what's not based off my little checklist there, using some common sense, kind of running through Uber suggests and kind of looking at buzzwords, suitable words that you can test. I think this is great. I also gave you kind of like some leverage points too. You can come in here with like the most expensive keywords, and you could just copy these things, create a screenshot, and go to your account manager. Go, hey, look, man, this is ridiculous. If you guys really expect people to like kill it with this offer, you guys are gonna have to bring the payouts up. There's no other choice. And then do the same thing with your networks when you're on board too. You go to applying new campaigns, and even Paulo's got like a bunch of offers that I just would not run because there's no way that I can make them work in the Google Click to Call campaign. Hearing aids is a good example. I think this guy pays out $20, but 90 seconds is a really long time. If I come over here and I type in, what is this? And really all I want to do is I just kind of want to get a feel for, again, what the core industry keywords are cost per click wise. I know if they're around the payout, then it's obvious that I won't be able to bid on those, but I should be able to scrounge around and find something close that is relatively, half the payout, quarter of the payout preferably. I'm going to pause this because Neil Patel is dragging his ass. Okay, I'm back. So finally loaded. So here's a good example, right? So hearing aids, volume 135,000, so it's got good volume. 433. This is broad, right? So this could fall into anything for hearing aids. Keyword shitter is a really good example for looking at long tail. So if we jump in here and I type in hearing aids, remember 135,000. So this is where we could definitely build out some negative keywords in here, but so people are shopping. They're at they're shopping for hearing aids, looking for the Costco kind because they have a nice little hearing booth in there and everything. Senior citizens love hearing aids clearly. So cost. There's some local stuff in here. Like we could for dogs. So this is great. So this is like some long tail stuff that you could definitely use, like hearing aids as seen on TV, right? So this is another good example of an offer. I haven't ran this yet. Last time I looked this up, I thought it was going to be a bad offer, but it looks like it's pretty decent. So I'm going to pause because Neil Patel is dragging his ass again. Cool. So if you look here, you'll see like, okay, that's pretty awesome. So that's about $1 a click, right? So this is great. So this is almost a 20 to 1. 20 to 1 here, which is like, I don't see that very often at all. So if this is accurate and Google is willing to sell you this traffic at $1 a click or even $2 a click, you have a campaign here. You have a campaign here. All you have to do is come up with a good snazzy angle that deals with hearing aids as seen on TV and get these people on the phone. You figure out if maybe they're seniors or something, 45 to 65 plus. You can just target those people. Maybe they got maybe they're not too bright, so they got less of an education. Maybe they're very smart. Maybe they make a ton of money. Maybe they're super broke. You can do all of this targeting inside your campaign and figure these people out. And then hopefully, after spending a few $100, you can figure out like who the sweet spot is, where the sweet spot is, who your target market is, and then and just sell hearing aids all day long. This is a good one to run. I like this one. This is one I might even just go test. My problem is I don't have a hearing aids or an old folks website, so I'd have to kind of build out it'd be a new project. I have to build out an old folks website to get it going, because I kind of like the brand approach. But that's a good example. That's like a good Paulo offer worth testing. It's new. So one red flag would be like, is anybody making any money on this offer? And the account manager would be like, it's a new offer. So that's a risk, right? That's where I go, okay, well, I got to kind of use this checklist as a guideline, because I may be willing to test this. just because it looks like it's a pretty good deal. 90 seconds, all of the US, it's a good offer. Monday through Friday. It's got kind of banker hours, but it's not a deal breaker. So other than it being new and it's got kind of banker offer hours, and assuming that Google's going to serve up traffic at these prices, man, can't go wrong with this. Look at this. All this as seen on TV stuff really adds up. So that's one thing I would consider. And what else? Let's see. We kind of went through that. I wanted to kind of really, one last thing. I'm going to close this up because I know how to drag these things out. The network stuff. So what you're going to look here is you're going to see a lot of networks in here. This is a sliver of the number of networks that are available out there in the pay-per-call marketing space. But my recommendation to you is if it's a new network and you've never heard of them before, that you go out to Facebook. You can go to pay-per-call. Let me pause this. That way you don't have to sit there and look at all my Facebook shit. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to jump in and get straight to the chase and get to the page that I like. Leads Marketplace is a really good place. It's a bigger channel. It's got this is Tim Bird's channel. He's the man when it comes to Facebook, and he's got this great page. And I recommend you go get approved in this group. And anytime you have a question regarding lead gen, whether that's pay-per-call or anything else, you form fill leads on your website and you want to sell those, so forth. This is just a great place to ask your questions. So when you come over here and you see somebody like, Digital Market Media or whoever, or, National Debt Relief, National Debt Relief is just a big credit repair or debt relief company. That's what they do. And it looks like they're brokering leads. So just a big lead gen company, right? Final expense, burial insurance, roof replacements. But anyway, you can come in here and go, does anybody know, I'm not going to do this live, but, you can just ask, does anyone work with Digital Market Media, and are they a good company, good network? Right? That's all you got to ask. And you'll start getting the feedback in. Oh, they suck. No, they're awesome. They're great. I happen to know that DMM is a great company. But, if you don't know and you're looking at an offer and an offer looks pretty decent, it passes the checklist test, then you definitely want to reach out and figure out who this network is before you start, planning your future. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I kind of hope that helps. So in a nutshell, use this as a kind of a guideline, but work through finding good offers. Take your time. Again, in my opinion, I would say 80% of the offers need work, typically in the payout and the duration buffer space. And it's it's probably because of marketers just doing what they do, and, they break things. And the networks, they got to kind of prop things up. So they got their tools to kind of prop things up, and the network and the publisher has their way of kind of trying to make money here, and it can be difficult. It can be an impedance mismatch a lot of time, and you as the publisher need to figure out clever ways of being resourceful and making the impedance mismatches matches. And that, what I'm saying is hey, if the offer doesn't work, just go to the network and ask them to make it work. See if you can get them to help you. Show them a screenshot of what it's going to cost per click using Ubersuggest, and see if you can get them to work from there. Work with your account managers. A lot of times they have insight into what's working, what's not working. And if they don't, then they can reach out to the buyers and they can figure things out. The buyers might already know what's working and what's not working. And that could be relayed back to you, and you could be in style. Here's an example. Here's a tip, right? So this offer, this credit repair offer, that pays out $12. Where's it at? It's probably right in my face and I can't see it, right? Is it even on this page? Where'd it go? All right. Well, anyway, there's a credit repair offer on here that was $12. Looks like it's disappeared. And yep, it doesn't live here anymore. And I know who runs that offer. So that's the Credit Pros, right? What makes credit repair so difficult is, again, the cost per click usually exceeds the payout for credit repair. So people they resort to cheap mass volume traffic like Credit Karma, and like Credit Karma, and the major credit bureaus. They're just looking for people that are looking for customer service calls. Very low intent, more navigational, informational seeking callers. And if you're a new credit repair company and you're buying that traffic, you're gonna go broke because you don't know how to convert somebody who's looking for Lexington Law customer service. You don't know how to convert somebody who's looking for Credit Karma customer service. Credit Pros figured it out. They realized that if they can monetize all of this cheaper traffic and get these people that are disgruntled, most likely, because they've been working with Lexington Law, who also fixes credit but does a bad job supposedly, or a poor job, or not a very good job supposedly. You get a lot of disgruntled people looking to talk to customer service, going, "Hey, why am I paying X amount of dollars every month? And it's been a year and nothing's changed in my credit. You guys are just ripping me off," right? You get that person on the phone with the Credit Pros guy, and the Credit Pros guy is going to walk them off the ledge and then sell them a better deal. And that's the difference between like a credit repair offer that works. So again, and this is no secret, you could send to the Credit Pros the cheapest Credit Karma Lexington Law customer service calls that you can find, and they know how to work them. The drawback is they only pay out $15. It's a 2-minute buffer post IVR. They host the IVR, so you can't see what buttons they're pushing. It's not a really good offer, but I like the idea. I like the idea that they figured out how to monetize this low intent traffic. And unfortunately, the low intent traffic is no longer cheap because everybody knows this, and so everybody sends the same shit to these guys. And now you're back to paying $5, $6, $7 a click on a $15 offer. It doesn't work, right? The only reason why I'm still running it is because, again, it's been running for a while, and I finally got an automated bidding strategy that's making less than $50 a day. It's kind of a waste of time, but it works, so I just let it run. Racks up some points on my Amex anyway. Okay. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I know this video went a while, almost an hour, but it's a really important one. There's a lot of knowledge in here when it comes to figuring out payouts and working with networks and so write this down if you can. This checklist is really helpful, and it'll kind of help you stay away from the bad stuff. Okay. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. If you're in Paper Call Blueprint right now, congratulations. If not, make sure you check it out. Link in the description, because I'm putting this one up on YouTube as well because it's really helpful. Anyway, talk to you later. Take it easy. Peace out.